Hey there, and welcome to Crochet Therapy. I'm Barbara, and I'm the host for this channel. I thought it was about time for me to do an introductory video. I mean, after all, I am coming up on my 1-year anniversary. August 19th will be 1 year that I have been on YouTube. So the reason that I started this channel was because I realized that crochet really is so therapeutic for me, and it is a way for me to calm my nerves. And so let me give you a little bit of background. In 2018, there were several things that happened that were really traumatic and quite dramatic for me. On my birthday in February, my family and I were driving home from the restaurant that we had celebrated my birthday. And it was in the middle of the afternoon. We had gone for a lunch. It was on a Saturday. We had gone for a lunch. And on our way home, I saw the sheriff's deputies with long guns, and they were running all around at this intersection. And this intersection was the only way to get to our house. You could either go left to go to our house, or you could go right and head in the opposite direction, and there was no other way to get home. Well, they were all around, and I didn't know what was happening. I was very confused and a little concerned because I thought maybe some of the businesses were being robbed. Well, it turns out that there was a gentleman who was having some really rough issues, and he had threatened his wife. He was going to kill her. So the police were involved. They were there to protect her. And in the midst of it all, he came pulling up at a very high speed and rammed into the sheriff's deputy cars. Rammed so hard that it appeared that 4 of them were pushed together pretty violently. And it just so happened that we were right next to, 5 feet away from where that happened. There was no way to predict that. There was no way to predict where he was going, or there was no way to prevent where we were in hindsight, because there was no way for me to know what was going to happen. And yet I felt responsible for being there and for putting my family in that position. And so there was a lot of anxiety afterwards. Well, it turns out that this was actually, he was there to kill his wife, but then he had a gun and he pointed it at the police. And so it was a suicide by cop. And so, the sheriff's deputies handled the situation because he was using force. While they were handling the situation, I saw gunshots. I saw the flash of the gun coming out of the long guns. I thought we were going to be shot. I didn't know what was happening at the time. And I thought we were going to be shot. And it was shocking, I guess is a good word, shocking. And so that was my birthday of 2018. And there was a lot of trying to deal with what I saw. I felt sorry for the whole situation. I felt sorry for the gentleman who felt like that was his only option. I felt sorry for the wife who had to deal with that, and I'm sure she had, feelings of guilt or whatever, and maybe even a little relief, and then feeling guilt over the relief. I don't know. For me, I felt guilty because I put my family in that spot, even though I had no way of knowing that that's what was going to happen. I still felt a guilt because it's my job as a mom and as a wife and as a daughter to protect my family. The women in my family are very much a lioness, and we protect those that we care for and that we love, and that's our job. It's just built into us, and I'm sure it's built into a lot of you that way too. So then, fast forward 2 months later, and my husband is robbed at gunpoint in the Walmart parking lot. And he's robbed, and it was just a comedy of errors because the guys were nervous, which makes it even more dangerous when you're dealing with someone who is nervous and pointing a gun at you. And so they ended up, hitting him in the back of the head and the neck with the gun. And it was obviously very traumatic for him and for me, because that protectiveness came out in me. And I just felt like I was not in control, which I'm not. But I always had that illusion that I could protect my family from anything. And obviously we can't, and things happen. And so that started, it started me dealing with PTSD, and anything where I thought that my family was not safe would trigger an anxiety attack. And then there was also depression that I dealt with and still deal with. And so there's just a lot of issues that come out when you experience something like that. And so I was in the midst of trying to deal with all of that and trying to, heal. And so that was 2018. 2019 in January, I determined that was going to be my year to heal. That was going to be my year to heal mentally and emotionally. I had a therapist and a medical doctor who was working with me to help me. Well, fast forward to March, and my friend Betty came to visit me, and we had a really wonderful week planned. I warned her ahead of time that my depression made it really difficult for me to even get off the couch, that I would do my best to be there, but that my energy level was very low and that my depression was very high. And she was so compassionate and understanding, and what a good friend should be. She was exactly what a good friend should be. And she brought, as a part of her contribution to our craft week, directions for crochet. She even brought me a hook and brought me the yarn and everything, just in case I didn't have it. I did have the hooks. I hadn't crocheted in over a year, but I did have everything. And so anyway, we started crocheting a little project, and it was just a little round scrubby. That's what we started with. And it was little, and it was doable, and it was something that I could finish. And it made me feel good. It wasn't a huge blanket project that would just take months and months and would just be so emotionally and physically and mentally draining. Oh, I have this blanket here, because my mind at that time couldn't handle any big projects. It was like she knew. It's a miracle, really. And so she brought that little project, and I made so many of those little projects. And that was my start to the realization that crochet is my therapy. The feeling of the hook, the smooth feeling of the hook going in and out of the yarn, the soft yarn going through your fingers, the feeling of accomplishment when you finish a project, all of that just helped me so much. And having my friend Betty there to talk to me and to understand helped me so much. And so that was when I just got hooked. See what I did there? And so I got hooked on crochet all over again, because I have been crocheting since I was 8 or 9 years old. I can't remember exactly how old. Probably, I think I've been saying 9 years, and I think that that's pretty correct. So that's a long time ago. because I am a wife, a mother, a daughter, a grandmother, and so I've been around a little bit. And so anyway, that was when the more and more I crocheted, and the more and more I talked about how crochet was therapeutic for me, and the more the people around me wanted to learn how to crochet because my enthusiasm for it was so great. And they saw the projects that I was making, and they wanted to be able to make projects like that as well. That is when crochet therapy was born. And so that was August 19th of last year. So anyway, so we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, and 2020 has been a very challenging year, as you know. And so I'm so glad that I've had crochet to help me get through this year. And I look forward to many more years of crocheting. And so that's just a little bit about me. And I hope that you just take a look at my channel. I have some playlists available. I do morning coffee and crochet, and I have my coffee here. And I have tutorials, and I have chit chats with other creators. And I just hope that you take a look around and see something that you can enjoy, something that can spark a little bit in you, and get your Crochet back if you've lost it, or just zhuzh it up if you need a little extra idea or a little extra crochet chat. Also, every now and then I will just do a crochet along where I just sit there and crochet and just keep you company. So if you ever get lonely and you want to just have somebody to crochet with, somebody who is not afraid to sit quietly and crochet, and every now and then have a conversation, or every now and then say something. And if you enjoy that type of thing, I have that as well. So anyway, I always end all of my episodes with the same way. And so I'm going to end this introductory in that way as well. Stay safe, be kind, and get hooking.